Hi everyone, welcome to this training course on the UiPath test suite. This course is a high-level overview and executive summary that doesn't cover details. So the overall goal of this course is to give you the big picture of the UiPath test suite. Now, these are the learning objectives for this course. So after this course, you will be able to explain the dynamics of the software testing market. You will be able to describe the goals and the purpose of software testing and its similarities and differences to robotic process automation. You will be able to discuss our target personas and their main value drivers. On top of that, you will be able to describe the product vision of the UiPath test suite, as well as its main components and capabilities. And finally, we will also outline our sales approach so that you are able to assess whether or not your customers are suitable for the UiPath test suite. Now that's the master plan. First up, the testing market. The goal is to give you a high-level overview of the dynamics of the testing market. Now, the total size of the testing market ranges between 30 billion and 40 billion US dollars. Now, let's take 40 billion as an optimistic benchmark. And the market segment here is segmented into three major regions, including North America, Europe, and Asia Pacific, with a total market share of 90%. North America clearly dominates with a market share of about 45%. Now, 90% of the testing market, that's roughly 36 billion US dollars, goes into testing services. And this market segment is dominated by testing consultancy firms, such as Accenture, Cognizant, Capgemini, and Infosys, for example. 10%, that's roughly 4 billion, goes into testing tools. And that's our market segment. And this market segment is dominated by commercial tool vendors such as Micro Focus, Eggplan, SmartBear, Worksoft, and Tricentis. Now, these are our main competitors in this market. On top of that, the testing tools market, especially for test automation, is saturated with a large variety of free and open source testing tools, such as Selenium and Appium. And that's because the testing tools market, in contrast to the RPA market, is an established market. Because testing tools are available for more than 20 years already. Another important aspect is that the testing tools market is estimated to grow faster than the testing services market. Analysts forecast the testing tools market to grow at a compound annual growth rate between 15 and 18% during 2020 and 2025. And this is mainly caused by the increasing adoption of DevOps and agile development practices in small, medium, and large organizations, literally across all industries, such as healthcare, insurance, banking, and telecommunications. Now, this movement causes incumbents, that is, legacy tool vendors such as Micro Focus, to lose substantial market share. So the testing tools market is a sizable market that has been around for decades. This implies that virtually every enterprise organization has already some testing tools in use in some shape or form. Next up, software testing. The goal is to create a shared understanding about the purpose and goals of software testing and its differences as well as similarities to RPA. In short, software testing is an activity. It's an activity to challenge software in order to evaluate software. Now, we evaluate software to collect quality-related information about the software. And the quality-related information we are mainly seeking are actual problems and potential problems in the software. Now, we try to find problems related to software quality attributes, such as functionality, security, and usability. So testing is always focused. And when testing is focused on finding problems related to security, we are doing security testing. When we are focused on finding problems related to functionality, we are doing functional testing. And when our testing is focused on finding problems related to usability, well, then we are doing usability testing. I think you get the point. In addition, software testing is always done in a specific context. So software testing is always context-driven. For example, testing in an agile context is called agile testing, and testing in a DevOps context is called DevOps testing. So testing is testing. Agile and DevOps is context. And the test itself is an instance of testing. Roughly speaking, a test is an experiment we perform to evaluate software. And a test case is just one particular instance of a test. It's a step-by-step description, an artifact. So a test case is not the test in the same way a recipe is not cooking. And this means that testing is an activity. It's a performance. It's not an act of test case creation. And the test cases may be created before, during, or after the act of testing. And therefore, you can test without test cases. So what we automate are test cases. We automate artifacts in testing. We do not automate the activity of testing in its entirety. So what's the point of doing software testing at all? Well, in short, the goal of software testing is to collect quality-related information about the software. And we do that to enable other people such as product owners and product developers, to help them to make better informed decisions based on the information we provide. Decisions such as shipping decisions or fixing decisions. So software testing is, in and of itself, a risk mitigation activity. And the risk mitigation activity is accelerated, not enabled by automation. In contrast, RPA is a cost reduction activity that is enabled by automation. So RPA cannot exist without automation, but software testing can. That's the main difference between RPA and software testing from the bird's eye perspective. Next up, our value framework. The goal is to understand for whom we are actually building the UiPath test suite. Now, we identified 3 groups of target personas for the UiPath test suite. First, we have the management team that mainly includes roles in upper management in the C-suite, such as the CIO, the CTO, and the CXO. And their main value drivers are to accelerate growth and to accelerate operational efficiency while mitigating risks. In short, here our messaging is focused on accelerating digital transformation by delivering value faster while minimizing risks due to more resilient automation. Secondly, we have the testing team that includes roles such as the test manager and the software tester. And their main value driver is to improve the employee experience. Now, here our message to testing teams is focused on making them become highly valued because they want to be perceived as value centers, not as cost centers. And thirdly, we have the RPA team that includes roles such as RPA developers, RPA architects, and RPA managers. And their main value driver is, again, to improve the employee experience. Now here, our main message to RPA teams is to help them scale RPA across the enterprise in a sustainable way. Now, each of these personas will evaluate the UiPath test suite from a different angle, and therefore we will constantly refer back to these value drivers throughout the course. Now, this implies that the UiPath test suite is not just a solution that helps testing teams to test their software applications, which we simply call application testing. The UiPath test suite is also a solution that helps RPA teams to test their robotic process automation, which we simply call RPA testing. So the UiPath test suite enables RPA teams to create automated test cases from their RPA workflows. And this in turn enables RPA teams to continuously check the resilience of their RPA workflows against application changes and environment changes before these changes are deployed to production. Now, this is what makes the UiPath test suite so attractive to RPA teams. So the UiPath test suite is one solution that serves 2 purposes. First, it transforms testing teams into value centers by empowering them with best-of-breed unified testing capabilities for application testing. And secondly, it enables RPA teams to scale sustainable RPA quickly with comprehensive RPA testing capabilities. Now, all this in turn then helps management, our CIOs, CTOs, and CXOs, to turn their companies into fast-moving companies. In summary, the UiPath test suite enables our customers to rapidly create business value for their customers by accelerating test case automation and robotic process automation at low cost and high quality. Next up, our product vision. The goal is to outline the ultimate vision of the UiPath test suite, because people don't just buy what you do, they mainly buy why you do it. To do that, let's start thinking about the value of an automated business process. Now, the value of an automated business process is given by the relation between the savings you create by automating that business process and the total effort it takes to both automate that business process and to maintain that automated business process. Now, in case you automate your business processes in a prioritized way, that is, you start automating high-value business processes first, then the total savings, for example, in terms of FTEs you expect for automation would evolve according to the green curve. Now, this is how it looks like in theory. However, in practice, there could be a significant gap between the expected and the actual savings. So based on what we have learned in practice, that is in our projects, the actual savings are very likely to evolve according to the red curve. And this is mainly caused by the maintenance effort that is related to the automation of your business processes. Now, this is not a special issue in RPA, and it's not a special issue of UiPath at all. It's a central issue of automation in general. Any kind of automation needs maintenance. And since RPA is primarily automation, RPA needs maintenance too. So proactive maintenance is what we need to do. Reactive maintenance is what we need to avoid. In short, we need to pay attention to maintenance right from the beginning to avoid that the expected savings of RPA start to erode due to the constantly growing effort of maintaining automation. Now that's already our very first learning. Now, one goal of the UiPath test suite is to help our customers to turn RPA from a high maintenance to, let's say a rather low maintenance activity. And creating low maintenance RPA means creating sustainable RPA. And this means creating scalable RPA. And this in turn means creating long-term beneficial RPA. This in turn enables our customers to fully realize the benefits of RPA in order to accelerate digital transformation initiatives. Now, maintenance itself is an umbrella term. It encapsulates a variety of problems that are related to automation and so to RPA. So here are the top problems we are trying to solve with the UiPath test suite. First, high maintenance RPA often comes from fragile automation. And fragile automation means unstable automation that causes your bots to break in production. Unstable automation mainly results from the fact that RPA teams all too often have a hard time incorporating application changes and environment changes into the RPA in a timely manner. And that is before the changes are deployed to production. Now, these changes are made by different teams in different departments that are usually separated from RPA teams. For example, changes to software applications that affect the bots are made by software development teams, and changes that are made to production environments that affect the bots are made by IT operation teams. And as a result, making RPA resilient against these changes often becomes an unmanageable task for RPA teams. On top of that, automation happens across the entire enterprise. It happens in software development, it happens in IT operations, and it happens on the business side by RPA teams. Now, these teams, as mentioned, are often completely separated from each other. So automation itself becomes siloed, and a result of this, the automation skills in an organization become unexploited. In addition, these teams usually don't have a platform to collaborate on automation, to, for example, share automation assets with other teams and reuse automation assets from other teams. And this leads to the fact that automation within an organization is often reinvented over and over again. And this leads to two problems. First, automation is created redundantly, which is simply a waste of time. Secondly, automation becomes a tedious task. It becomes a time-consuming activity because it's simply hard to write production-grade automation. Now, these are the main problems of our customers. And the good news is that the UiPath test suite helps to solve these problems. It not only helps to scale automation in a sustainable way, it helps to do it fast to truly accelerate digital transformation. In short, our goal is to enable our customers to create resilient, maintainable, and scalable automation fast by facilitating alignment across software development, IT operations, and the business. So our vision is to help our customers to put enterprise automation into reality. And enterprise automation is automation at scale. It combines business process automation on the business side, IT process automation in IT operations, and test case automation in software development. Now, since we already provide the number one tool for RPA on the business side and made the first steps into IT automation, the UiPath test suite can be understood as the missing link to achieve enterprise automation. It's the missing link that enables our customers to share and reuse automation assets as well as skills across the enterprise, which in turn makes the update of automation assets become an easy task. Now, the key here is that our customers can only do that with one single solution, and that's UiPath. Well, how else would you be able to share and reuse automation assets? Well, you simply couldn't do that. In summary, enterprise automation is a key enabler to accelerate digital transformation. And enterprise automation has to happen at the intersection between business, IT operations, and software development. Now, this implies that enterprise automation is collaboration. And since collaboration fosters innovation, the vision behind the UiPath Test Suite is to equip our customers with the missing tool, that is the UiPath Test Suite, to enable them to create business value fast for their customers by accelerating automation across the enterprise. Now, that's our vision, and that's the main aspect of our value proposition. Next up, our product components. The goal is to create a shared understanding about the main product components and capabilities of the UiPath Test Suite. In short, the UiPath Test Suite is an umbrella term. It's an umbrella term for 4 product components. That is Test Manager, Studio Pro, Orchestrator, and the robots. Now, these 4 components are our SKUs. Long story short, Test Manager is our brand new test management platform. It integrates into ALM tools, for example, Jira, to help you to link test cases and the execution results to requirements. Now, this in turn then enables holistic test reporting that includes test cases from many different projects. On top of that, we've added testing capabilities to Studio, Orchestrator, and to the robots to make them ready for application testing and RPA testing. For example, in Studio, these testing capabilities can be enabled by a separate license. And this license then turns Studio into Studio Pro. So Studio Pro is simply a superset of Studio. Now, these 4 components provide a variety of testing capabilities, ranging from automation capabilities such as Citrix automation, web, desktop, and SAP automation to API and even mobile automation. But the UiPath Test Suite is so much more than automation. It provides CI/CD integration and version control capabilities. It comes with pre-built testing activities, data-driven testing, distributed execution, and it provides a rich set of powerful test management capabilities. That's the UiPath Test Suite in a nutshell. Next up, our sales approach. The goal is to briefly outline our sales approach based on the dynamics of the software testing market. So where to look for opportunities? Very important. For 2020, our entire focus is to offer the UiPath Test Suite to existing customers that already adopted our RPA platform. Remember, every one of our customers is doing software testing in one way or another. Now, this implies that every one of them invested into testing tools already. Now, this in turn implies that selling the UiPath Test Suite to them means trying to take away something from their existing tool landscape. So the goal is to sell to our existing customers to unlock additional value for them with the UiPath Test Suite. Remember, this additional value is the value of enterprise automation that cannot be achieved with any other tool vendor. That's the key message of our overall sales message. And we will look at new prospects on a case-by-case basis. Depending how we progress in 2020, we'll then evaluate our approach for 2021 ongoing after new markets. So where do we look for opportunities in our existing customer base? Well, according to Gartner, enterprise customers usually fall into 3 categories. First, we have customers operating in a classical mode. And here, development and testing follow traditional software delivery processes, such as the waterfall model or the Y model. And here, internal testing teams usually operate centralized and are siloed from development teams, and so are often solely responsible for testing. Now, this type of customer is characterized by having mainframe systems and applications based on legacy technologies. Large financial services, government agency, and highly regulated industries are typical examples here. They are very likely to stick with incumbent testing tools in the near term, but they will consider switching to a new testing tool vendor in the next 2 to 4 years. Now, these customers may not be our primary targets and should be qualified carefully before spending significant sales and pre-sales effort. On the other side of that spectrum, we have customers operating in an agile mode. And here development and testing usually follow fast-paced, agile software delivery processes. And you will often hear them using terms such as continuous integration, continuous delivery, and DevOps. Now here testing teams are fully integrated in development teams. And this type of customer is usually characterized by modern applications such as web applications or mobile applications. And they are very likely to use open source testing tools such as Selenium and Appium to build their own test automation frameworks. And these customers will proceed doing that until they either run into talent issues to build, extend, and maintain these frameworks, or until the complexity of enterprise end-to-end automation stops them from leveraging open source tools, and so forces them to adopt comprehensive commercial testing tools such as the UiPath Test Suite. And these customers are not our primary targets in the near term. Our primary targets are customers operating in a hybrid mode. Now here we find a mix of classical and agile development practices. Here we find centralized and integrated testing teams. Here we find a good mix of applications based on legacy technologies. We find package applications such as SAP, ServiceNow, Salesforce.com. We find mainframe systems and modern applications. Now, these customers have already adopted or are planning to adopt new testing tools in the next 1 to 2 years. And typically, they start implementing testing tools for specific applications or specific business units before they start rolling these testing tools out to the rest of the organizations. Now, these customers represent our core market. The good news is that about 70% of enterprises are in the hybrid mode. So what's the expected deal size? Well, based on our sales model and our past experience, we expect initial deals, so-called land deals, around 50K. As we progress with our customers, the average upselling deals, so-called expand deals, are expected to be between 150 and 250K. In parallel, we should see a good number of conversations leading to very large deals, so-called enterprise deals, around $1 million and above. Now remember, what we are selling are 4 SKUs, a test management component called Test Manager, Orchestrator, Studio Pro, and the robots. Now that's it. That's all we wanted to share with you. For more information about the UiPath Test Suite, please refer to these assets in the additional resource section of this course or contact us anytime at gtm.testsuite@uipath.com for any further questions, comments, or concerns. Thank you so much.